everybody. Welcome to the show. Excuse me. This is the Psychic and the Doc, and we have a very, very special show for everybody today. I'm Dr. Pat Baccili. I'm joined by my sidekick here, Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer. Hello, Mark.
How you doing, Dr. Pat? You know, I was looking up the significance of January 20th, and when it's not Inauguration Day, it's National Cheese Day. so we will not be cheesy, though, tonight on this show.
Any particular cheese or just like the cheese?
I think it's
like
just
the cheese in general.
It's just the cheese
or is it
in
like
general.
Swiss cheese versus cheddar cheese versus Limburger cheese? Which cheese is it?
Yeah, well, that's the cool thing about cheese. It's diverse like humanity, and you can't just, favor one cheese. You must be open to all. Well, see, I think we're the only show in the world that can turn cheese into, something cosmic.
Well, I got to tell you, it's a couple of things. It's really interesting. I was struck by a couple of things today, but I love cheese. I don't care.
I do too. Yeah.
Do I love every cheese? Let me just say, I don't love every cheese, but I pretty much like every cheese. There's very few, but I'm a little fussy about how to pair them up, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm a little fussy about, how do I eat this cheese? Do I eat this with this? And then I had somebody give me a 30-minute dissertation that if you're on the keto diet, okay, the keto plan. So if you're on the keto plan, cheese is okay, but there are some cheeses that are better than others.
Right.
And 30 minutes, I said, you got to explain that to me. I don't understand. Give me like an explanation, like why this cheese over here would work and this one doesn't. After 30 minutes, I said, I would like to talk about Kate Blanchett right now. And they looked at me like, does she like cheese? And I'm like, I don't know, but I want to talk about her anyway. And, it was interesting. And I said, here's why I want to talk about her, because, we're doing a lot of shows coming out of the gate for the year.
Yeah.
And we're doing a lot of shows that have to do with setting oneself up for 2022. Today's number day has a significance. It's about clarity, right?
Right.
About 2020. So that's like a little thing somebody told me. But it's also an interesting full moon that we just went through, where this particular full moon is calling on people to really look at emotionally shifting. So today you and I decided to do a show that has to do with empowerment. And sometimes before you can even say the word empowerment, you kind of have to understand what you're signing up for. Because if you sign up for empowerment, then you have to figure out either one way or the other, this side or that, as you say it, Mark, right? No subjects taboo.
All topics are on the table.
We got to get down and dirty with the E word today. That's what I think.
And we were talking when Dr. Pat and I were discussing this show, and psychologists, and Dr. Pat can attest to this time of year, the third week in December is considered, third and fourth weeks, to be one of the most depressing times, or the most depressing time of the year. And we decided to do this show, which is empowerment, is proactive, because I get depression and I get grief, depression, because what it is for most people, the weather's dreary, the distractions, the colors, the lights of the holidays are gone, and now the credit card bills from the holidays are arriving. So there's a lot of things, and for people coping with the loss of a loved one, it's even intensified. But we decided, instead of just talking about that, we're going to help to inspire people, to empower people to pull themselves out of that. There's no magic wand quick fix to depression, but it's a proactive process. And so that's why, 2022 is all about you. And that's Transformation Network's theme for this year. And I think that this is the appropriate show to help people become proactive, empower themselves to take control of their lives.
Yeah. And I want to say this because our phone lines are open, and we made it a point when we talked about this show. We want to hear from everybody. We also want to hear from everyone that wants to bring an empowering message to the forefront.
Absolutely.
Now, that may not be everybody. Sometimes it's hard, but sometimes you make tough decisions in life. You're given opportunities. Maybe sometimes you can move forward. Maybe you don't. Maybe you have to do what this full moon says. You have to really clear out what do they call them? You have to really clear out those things that are hanging out in your mind that are causing you to be fogged up from your future, your vision.
It's right? Like you got to get the bats out of your belfry.
Yeah. Yeah, we can talk about Batman too. But the reason, well, it's interesting. I want to go to the phone lines, but the reason I wanted to talk about Cate Blanchett to my friend the other day, and we ultimately did. I'm not going to take a whole lot of time. When I think about empowered women, there are a couple of actors that come to the front of the line for me. And she's not an American actor. She is in Australia. She lives in Australia. But if you ever heard her interview, and if you've ever heard her interview with Rooney Mara in the film Carol, if you've ever heard her talk or interview, you get a real sense of empowerment. Now, does it mean that this woman was born with a silver spoon? No. Let me give you an example. She couldn't do the film The Ricardos. You know, the one that's out now with Nicole Kidman? They take that 1 week in Lucille Ball's life. Very pivotal. And that was her film from day one.
Really?
She wanted it. Yeah. She talked about it right after she did Carol. It was on her radar. Then what happens? COVID happens, but that didn't stop anything. What happens is everybody's schedule got shifted. So if you're somebody and you're like her, and this movie was set up, made for you, the children wanted her to have the role. What in the world could possibly get in the way put by the universe? But more importantly, today's show is to really point to, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And the reason that we're talking about that is anybody that saw the Ricardos or knows about it, it wasn't played by her. It was played by Nicole Kidman. And when you hear these two women talk about this experience, you have to be inspired by the way that they look at the laws of the universe. Nicole Kidman says, in this industry, we have an unwritten rule, kind of speak. And it's whatever's supposed to happen, whoever is supposed to get the role is the one that's supposed to get it. The flip side of that, by turning down that role, Cate Blanchett gets 2 gigs nominated for a SAG award and a BAFTA award. She gets 2 gigs. Don't Look Up in Nightmare Alley. But what is it like to feel disempowered? What must it have been like for her to face one of the darkest moments, probably in her acting career? So strongly wanted to play Lucille Ball. And this goes full circle, because we're talking about empowerment. And one of the rites of passage, Mark, and you know this because you've had to do it.
Yeah.
One of the rites of passage to move up the ladder of empowerment is to be able to face conflict and fear dead on and not let it get in your way. That's what today's show's about, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And you know what's fascinating is Cate Blanchett in Lord of the Rings played Galadriel, one of like the best characters in literature. And when I was a kid, I read Lord of the Rings, and I was really impressed with Peter Jackson's casting, because the way I pictured Frodo was definitely how Elijah Wood looked. Ian McKellen nailed it as Gandalf, and Kate Blanchett was Galadriel. And the thing about Galadriel is exactly what you just said, Dr. Pat. It's about facing fear. And that was one of the lessons that she was helping. I mean, we could talk all night about the symbology in the Lord of the Rings, but I like what you said about facing fear, facing stress, facing these obstacles. It could be grief, it could be fear, it could be breaking up, it could be starting a new job, it could be coping with COVID. It's all those gnarly, nasty emotions. And Galadriel, the character she played, was like the light that guides you through that. So, but I wonder if Kate Blanchett were a cheese, what cheese would she be?
Oh, she'd be one of the strongest cheeses that you could put on a plate. The only cheese that would clear out a room.
So I was thinking more like Havarti, but I think we're going Limburger here.
Havarti. Oh, I have to think about who would be a Havarti. I mean, when you think about it, and you think about what empowerment means in one of the most competitive industries on the planet, and the choices that this woman made, and Rooney Mara as well, both of them were reunited in Nightmare Alley. But when you think about the choices that a woman like that makes in an industry that's competitive, and then to listen to her talk about it, it is so amazingly refreshing to understand that they are just people. They go through things like we go through.
Yeah.
And yet, amongst all of the hoopla and all of the great movies she was in, many people thought for her, why would you do the movie Carol? And that movie with Rooney Mara put both of those women at a pivotal point in their career. And let me just end with this, because then we'll go to the phones. I don't know if anybody knows who Rooney Mara is. She picks her roles very carefully, but if you ever seen her and Daniel Craig in Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, you'd know her. If you've seen her in Carol, you'd know her. But if you heard her say, I turned the role down the first time around. See, this is the way the universe works, right?
Right.
I turned the role down. And she puts her head down when she says this, Mark. And she says, I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't feel like I was worthy of it. I didn't feel I was good enough. I didn't. And the universe let it go around, and it came right back to her. And she starred she and Kate Blanchett, by the way, were reunited in Nightmare Alley, which is now spinning a lot of cheese. It's spinning to do Carol too. But the point of all of this is every one of us has it inside of us. You don't have to be Kate Blanchett, but think about it. One door was shut for her. The role of a light to play Lucille Ball.
Wait, yeah.
Role of a life. And then she gets two. Nightmare Alley and Don't Look Up. And they say she's most likely to get nominated for the Big O. Let's go to the phones if we could, Jacob.
Sounds great. We've got Sharon from Scottsdale, Arizona on the line. Hi there, Sharon.
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Sharon.
Good to be here. Hi. Great, thank you.
Yeah, how can we help you?
I do have some, well, I wanted to say right quick about fear, right quick, as I was listening to your conversation, something that's come up recently, the emotion, if you will, of winter is fear sometimes. Yeah. And when we think about this adage, fear not, faith answered, and no one was there. So it's about finding that courage, I think, in that faith. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I love that.
So thank you.
Mm.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm going to think on that.
You're welcome.
I want to think on that for about 10 years. That was big. How can we help you? Let's see what we can do to help you with your empowerment journey. What do you think?
Well, I'm doing a lot of writing right now about loved ones that have passed over and transitioned. And their stories have all become, at first they started out biographies over the years, and now they turned out to be ones of historical fiction that's wrapped around one life and another, and they just have all turned out, and they're all rolling out this year. So I have about 8 years ago, when my husband passed, I did have a reading with Mark. It's been many, many years, and he just tapped right into Jay's energy. So when I saw the Facebook post today, I thought, oh, I'm going to call and see what insight. Yep, there we go. So here I am. Thank you.
All right, let us see what Mark can do to help you.
Okay. I know that you probably want to talk to your husband, but I'm getting a different spirit stepping through, a female energy, and I'm feeling that she could be on your generational level, but she could be on the one above it. So she could be on the parent level or your level. I'm not sure just yet, but this woman, she seems like she had a heavier build. And yes. I get, okay, making sense. Carefree, free spirit. She's the type of person that if somebody made a comment about her weight, she'd turn around and just let them have it. Okay. Very self-confident, very loving, and like the best friend ever. And when she died, I'm getting this numbness on the left side of my face. Now, what's interesting about that is that a right brain stroke will cause numbness on the left side of the body, but so will a heart attack. And sometimes when people start having a heart attack, it triggers a stroke or vice versa. But what I'm getting is I'm getting this numbness. I am feeling complications, constrictions in the blood flow in her heart. And it feels like it did not take her right away. Okay, now it sounds like you recognize the spirit. So does this make sense?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. You haven't written that much about her, though, have you?
She's the only one that I haven't.
Yeah.
It's in development.
All right.
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
I'm not trying to leave her out. It's just
well, hold on. Here's what she said. Why the haven't you written about me? And the starts with an H.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. And it's so funny because she says, you haven't written about me. And what's good about this message is there's several spirits around you that are helping you with this creative process. And I understand this. Having written a book, and they'll come, and all of a sudden you get these spurts of inspiration. Is that she's saving it up, and there's going to come a time when you're done with this particular writing, this project, when she is just going to kabam and really, really help you. So that's what I'm getting. Dr. Pat.
Oh, that's wonderful.
What's your take on all this?
Well, I think my take is like what I said before, and I don't want to keep you because I know we have a lot of callers. I love that you're showing up here and you're talking about taking action. You're also talking about, creativity and really looking in and tapping into the spiritual well for guidance and help. And, this is the year for that. It really is. It is so the year for that. Now, what I didn't say about Cate Blanchett, and I'm just going to say it quick, there are a lot of roles that she can play in, but she has already signed on for a fascinating role about women. It is one of the most incredible adaptations, and it's called A Manual for Cleaning Women. And it's 43 stories about women in multiple types of demanding jobs. So you see, this is this energy of empowerment now. This is where you get to finish the book, you get to get guidance for it, and you get to step into the energy of 2022, which is more than expansive, you see. It's about finishing. So if I had a message for you today, you're right at the finishing line. You're right there, right? This is the year to punch through and go over. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank both of you. I appreciate you
Thank you.
both.
And, you know, I
Yeah.
appreciate you calling because you're proactive and you're being empowered and you're getting this huge project done. And the other side is listening. So, wow, we couldn't have had a better
Oh,
first call.
wow.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome.
Thanks.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
You
Yes.
bet. Jacob, let's keep rolling. I love it.
Sounds great. We've got Sharon from Napa on the line now.
Hey, Sharon, welcome to the show.
Looks like it just connected.
Hi,
You.
can you hear me okay?
We got you for sure. What can we do for you today?
So, well, first of all, I want to say that Galadriel was my favorite.
Oh, woo!
I have a, and I love Havarti cheese.
Oh, well, hey,
That's a good one.
we got Galadriel and Havarti cheese happening. This is good. Yeah, Galadriel
Yeah, my
is very much the symbol of, I think, a guardian angel.
Yeah.
You know, this being of light that helps us and guides us. So how can we help you, Sharon?
So I have a question for you, Mark. I became a Reiki master practitioner, and when I've been doing it for a little while now, and when I'm channeling the energy to help people heal, I've started channeling medical messages. If there's something going on with the person physically, I've
Right.
started to feel things and see things. And I'd like to develop it, first of all, and I've been reading a lot. Do you have any advice for me, or do you see any guides helping me?
Well, first off, with Reiki, which is channeling energy and focusing on energy and healing, what you're experiencing is a natural extension of Reiki. And, you know, I went through Reiki training. I'm Reiki level 2. And I remember during the attunements is when things like you really start connecting. And here's my advice, though. Continue doing what you're doing. But when you pick up on medical issues with people, and I know Dr. Pass can agree with me on this, don't give people medical advice. You can say, I'm picking up an issue with your spleen, and you need to get it checked. Okay, don't tell somebody you have to do this. All right, because if you tell them that, see, the issue that you're getting may be the spleen, and you may be, let's say you get the spleen in broccoli, and you say, oh, well, you better eat broccoli because that's going to help your spleen. And then you find out that this person's allergic to broccoli later on. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. I never give advice. I just
Right. Very
let
good.
them know
Very
just
good.
like you said.
Yeah. Say, I'm picking up
Yeah.
on this because the thing is, you're not a medical doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. Dr. Pat's not a medical doctor, but you know, we pick up on medical issues, and so we want to guide people. And what I'm getting is you've got 3 spirits working with you that are helping guide you. Getting what feels like they're parental figures, but I think they're grandparents, and they're more with your dad's side of the family. And then there is the female energy with your mom's side of the family. And these are the people that are helping you with this. Is there somebody with those that could have had a major orthopedic problem with their bones? Because they're talking about orthopedics and orthopedic problems.
My grandfather on my dad's side.
There we go. Okay, he's one of the ones I'm picking up on. All right, so these spirits are going to guide you, and basically the advice is continue doing what you're doing. And I don't know if they're being funny or giving me a verifiable fact following a message, but they're showing me a whole bag of Hershey's Kisses. You know, the little, aluminum package that says Hershey on it. Is there anything about that particular candy, or could be something about Pennsylvania, because Hershey's in Pennsylvania, that would make sense to you in any way?
Oh, wow. All right. Thank you. And I
Okay.
do believe that my grandmother on my mom's side is always with me. So thank you for confirming that.
Okay,
Well,
great.
thank you. Thank you for calling in, and thank you so much for doing what you're doing to be in service of other people. This is really the time for all of us to really step up in a level of compassion and service. Thank you so much for doing that. Awesome. Wow. Jacob, I think we keep going, and then we'll cut to a break after our next caller.
Sounds great. We've got Christy from Louisiana on the line.
Hey, Christy, welcome.
Hey, how are y'all?
We're real good.
Hey, Christy,
We're
how you doing?
good. We're just fired
Hi,
up
can
today.
you hear me?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. I'm calling. I know the show's about empowerment tonight. And we've had so much grief over the last years. It's kind of hard to feel that. I feel
Yeah.
like I can't come out of it.
Okay, Dr. Pat,
So I don't
take
know.
it away.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The past couple years, let's just be clear, right? 2 years, past 2 years.
At least last year for sure.
Last year was the pinnacle. I will say, you're right.
Right.
You know, I had somebody say something to me a long time ago, and I have to tell you, I hated it. This is one of my mentors, and I just couldn't wrap my mind around it. And I would wake up some days and just think, what is going on? What is going on in my life right now?
Right.
And then I opened the door for that thought, which is fueled by a whole lot of crazy town, just a whole lot of crazy town. If there was a cheese associated with my psyche, it'd be Swiss cheese. It had a lot of holes in it, just a ton. We've lost so many people. I just went back east for a relative. But we have to be very aware that empowerment isn't always about doing for other people, other places, and other things. One of the pure essence energies of empowerment is self-care. It's probably one of the strongest elements, and it's one of the least that we think about ever.
Okay.
I can't help on a call like this, can't help you with your grief, but my message to you in the spirit of empowerment is you don't have to live in that space. There are people you can reach out to and get some help with, but you have to take action and do something. I want to read something for you. Pick a number. Do me a favor. Pick a number from 1 to, let's say, 380. Just give me a number.
What about 5?
5? So I want to read this.
5.
I got the 5. This book I don't even think is out yet. This is by a friend of mine. I've known her for a long time before I knew anything about anything. Her name is Lynn Andrews. And I think this book was released 2 days ago, maybe 2 days ago. But I want to tell you what you picked. And I want to leave you with this message, if you're willing to take it on. Okay?
Okay.
All right. You picked the spirit of a warrioress. You are a born fighter. Many people do not understand the spirit of a warrioress. The whole world will seem to be against you, but you will never, never surrender. You will shift, you will move down alternative trails, change direction. You'll become invisible in the wilderness, but you will fight to the death to protect your destiny. That's from Genevieve from Crystal Woman. That's the energy that I want to invite you to hold. But you have to start holding it to fight for the truth of who you are. Grief was never designed to stop us. The universe didn't design grief to stop us. It designed grief, right, as something we hold as humans for someone or some other thing we have lost. And it becomes a rite of passage. So if you are the warrioress, then you pick up your shield and you earn your rite of passage to move through it. And you don't become it. We cannot allow ourselves in 2022, not a single person on this call, we cannot allow ourselves in 2022 to become our grief, to become our sadness, to become our loss, to become our lack, to become our depression. And the energy has shifted. But I know this, and let me leave you with this. I could never do it alone. And I found a mentor who has made her transition. But I found a woman at the right time in my life, at the right moment, to help me live. Please seek that for yourself, okay?
Okay.
Please seek it. They'll find you too. If you put the energy out there, you will find it. They will be on top of you like a fly is on you know what. That's a poor analogy. That's just like an awful analogy.
Fly on melting cheese.
Okay. Right. That's right.
But you know, Dr. Pat, that was absolutely spot on. And the fact that she picked number 5 for the warrior-is, that was just wonderful. You know, and it was making me think of something that Winston Churchill said, which is when you're going through hell, keep going. You know, and that is so much the theme of what you were saying. And that's part of the warrior. You know, how do you survive a battle? You got to keep going until you're out of it. So, and, you know, I'm going to say to the caller, check back with us.
Yes, please.
Let us know how things are going. Okay. And that's to all our callers. Yep. You know, we like to hear from you because that's why we're here. The psychic and the doc are on call for you guys.
Well, thank you, Mark. We're going to take a short break. I got a text message from somebody that's listening to the show who wants me to say this, and I have to say it exactly. Hey, Dr. Pat, I know the cheese that Cate Blanchett could be. It's Brie because she's up for an award for playing Brie Eventry in the Don't Look Up movie. You are so got me beat on the trivial. It is Cate Blanchett as Brie. Let's take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Psychic and the Doc. I'm here with Mark Anthony. We're going to have to send a clip. We're going to have to send a clip of the show to both Cate Blanchett and Rooney Mara. I'm getting a lot of text messages and asking me a number of things. And, you know, certainly you relate to these people. We could have talked about anybody today, but relating to people that showed, especially women in the world at the moment, that are showing a level of sense and empowerment and have made choices in their life and their career. And it always hasn't been in the best of times. If you ever hear the interview by Rooney Mara talk about her passing up the role of, you know, to play Therese and Carol, and that role came back to her. It's fascinating to see what every one of us goes through to make sure that we are taking great care of ourselves and that we can show up in life the way we want to show up. Now, to answer another question that came in, and then I'm going to totally get off the whole movie thing here. I do not think the answer to your question, Judas, I think it is, sorry. The answer to your question is Cate Blanchett going to reprise her role in the spirit of Ragnarok? No, I don't think so. That's an easy answer. Let's go. I know we want her to reprise her role in like a million things. And yes, there's another question that came in. Why isn't she playing in the upcoming Lord of the Rings? Okay, the answer is, you know what it is? It's like ageism. So let's keep rolling. Jacob.
Alrighty. We've got Mary from New York on the phone.
Hi, Mary. Welcome to the show. How can we help you on our E-Day?
Oh, hi. Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you taking my call.
What can we do for you today?
Well, my husband passed 2 years ago, and I was just wondering if, my husband had passed a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Okay, let me see if he's going to step forward. All right, I'm getting a male energy coming through, and I keep getting like either adrenal glands or renal glands. So that would be the kidneys. I'm getting a man where I'm feeling pains in the kidneys, which are just above the hips. And I'm also getting, God, this is a weird sensation within my body. It's almost like when I say I mean, he's projecting these sensations to me. Like his internal organs were liquefying. And his endocrine glands, all of them were severely affected. And I'm getting like tremors in my hands and a sense of neurological dysfunction. So I'm getting endocrine, I'm getting a lot of concentration on the kidneys. I'm getting a lot of problems in the lower GI tract, colon, and I'm getting neurological dysfunction, and I almost feel a numbness as well. And it feels to me that his passing was not a quick event, that he had a lot of very complicated medical conditions. Does any of this resonate with you, Mary?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He said, you're still not smiling enough, and he's not being critical. It's like this, when you're smiling. Yeah. Okay, he said, you're not smiling enough. He said, you're starting to get there. And now he's throwing strawberries at you. And they're chocolate-covered strawberries, which I really like, okay? So when I get the image of chocolate-covered strawberries, that's one of my triggers for the month of February. Are there any significant births, deaths, anniversaries, or events connected to you or your husband within the month of February?
My son and my daughter born February 9th, February 10th.
Boom. See? Okay. So he said he's with you every day spiritually. And see, when a spirit says that, and I explain this in greater detail in all of my books, particularly the Afterlife Frequency, because a lot of people say, well, am I holding them back? No. Spirits are pure electromagnetic energy. They move at the speed of light. So if he's with you every day, he's moving at light speed. He pop in, see what Mary's doing, pop out and do, what spirits do. So he wants you to know that you're not holding him back. He is thrilled to continue being part of your life. And he said that you are finally getting to the point where you're like pulling yourself out of the muck of grief. That's his message. All right. Dr. Pat?
Okay. Yeah, excuse me just a second. I'm sorry, Dr. Pat. I see a lot of 222, 333. Every time I get up at night, it's always 222, 333. Does that mean anything? Or
let me ask you this. When you see 222 or 333, what's the first thing that pops into your mind?
Angels or presence or...
No, you're guessing.
Something.
All right. When I say
I'm saying I feel like some kind of presence.
Okay. Well, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
See, when it comes to interpreting messages from spirits, you got to go with the first thing that hits you. Get that down, and then afterwards, then you can analyze it. So you got these spiritual influences. You got to realize, by the way, your husband's the 333. All right, Dr. Pat.
I'm just going to tell you what they mean from from numerology. Is that okay? So it's interesting you're picking up 222 and 333, and if you do the division on them on your own, you get an interesting thing, right? But let's start out with 333 for a minute. 333, it symbolizes, and it's so funny because we're talking about this tonight, and the encouragement in it's about making choices in life, the 333 number, okay?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know what's on your plate, but it's about that. It's about choices. It's about relationships, right?
Okay.
It also may
Okay.
mean that it's time for you to make some changes
Yes,
in your life.
I agree
I
with
don't
that.
know. Yeah. Okay. So I don't even want to ask you about it because you already know.
Right. Okay. Okay.
222
Okay.
is an interesting number, right? Because when you put 222 and 333 together, they have a double meaning. So I encourage you to really look at these on your own. But if 222 means that you're going to make some choices in your life, especially about relationships, 333
Okay.
is about 222 is this thing about hope and harmony, right? It's about life, but it's also about
Okay.
life choices and commitment and compromise and trust. So the 222 sign can build on your current situation to help you achieve things, right? It's also some people call it an angel number when you have important
Okay.
decisions or changes in your life. But both of these
Right.
are calling you to change decision. Do you see? And that is the core of empowerment that we're talking about tonight.
Okay.
And we just
Thank you.
talked about two actors, two women who made what their publicists probably thought were horrific choices. Rooney Mara turning down Carol the first time. Probably her publicist, her representative went through the roof. And then Kate Blanchett, who couldn't do Lucille Ball. What happened is for Rooney, Carol came back around at the perfect time, at a later time where a movie like Carol, could be accepted. Both of them were given accolades. Kate Blanchett didn't get the Lucille Ball, but she got two other things. Now she's nominated for double awards. There's a level of trust that you have to have in yourself to make good decisions.
All right. Okay.
That's
Thank you.
trust
Thank
yourself.
you.
All right, good.
I just have one fast question, if you don't mind. I go to the cemetery, and I also go look for my friend's mother because she don't live in New York. I speak to them because I really can't find it. You think they hear me?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand.
Yeah, I couldn't understand that either.
Yeah, your connection's gotten very garbled. All I
Yeah.
heard was you go to a cemetery, and then
Yeah.
after that, it wasn't clear.
Call,
I'm
call
sorry.
us back
No,
next time.
I'm just okay.
Call-
Thank you for taking
yeah,
my
some-
call. I appreciate it.
Yeah, call us
something
back.
weird's happening with that connection. That was an important
Thank
question.
you.
Call us back. We need to get to an answer.
Yeah, I want. Yeah,
Okay.
thanks, Mary.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, she just got a little bit garbled. I couldn't understand it either. Jacob.
All right. Next up, we've got Denise from Florida. Hi there, Denise.
Hey, Denise. How can we help you today? Happy Empowerment Day. We made that up.
It's as fun as National Cheese Day, so that works. All right, Denise, you're on the Psychic and the Doc. How can we help?
Well, Happy New Year to both of you.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, Denise. What can we do for you?
I was just wondering, it's been a hard 2 years, and I was just wondering what 2022, if anybody has any advice for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got a female energy coming through on your mother's side of the family. Is your mom in spirit? Because she feels very, very mom-like. She's either a mom or a grandmom, but I'm getting this like intensive female
In spirit.
Okay, all right. So your
Yes,
mom.
my mom is in spirit.
Your mom, let me tell you, your mom was good in a crisis. She always rose to the occasion. She was a woman of action, is what I'm getting with her. And does that make sense? Hello, are you there?
I think we may have
Yes, I
lost.
missed you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mark. Say it again.
Okay, I'm getting that your mother was a woman of action, rose to the occasion. I lost what the message was. Okay. Yeah, she's separated. I maybe your phone connection's not good. See, everyone that calls in, make sure that you turn the speakers for your computer and all that off, and that you're just talking to us on the phone.
Not a headset.
Not a headset, because the resonance of your voice is extremely important to the connection to the other side. And I had her mother here, and then I just lost her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm on a cell phone. Everything is off.
No, you sound good now.
Yeah, now you sound good.
You sound great.
Okay. So let me see what your mom wants you to know. Who's the clean freak? I mean, like clean, 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 clean. I'm smelling, what's that stuff? Comet. I'm smelling bleach. I'm getting like, I feel like I want to mop floors. What's going on with this?
I guess she wants me to clean the house.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. And she's also telling me that you are reevaluating your personal habits. This is interesting because Dr. Pat was talking about this, I think, with one of the first callers about self-care.
Yeah.
Because what I'm getting from your mom's spirit is with you and iron in your body, because she showed me lots of raisins. Now, that may mean you love raisins or hate raisins, but raisins are one of my triggers for iron. And once again, I'm not giving medical advice, something to check with your healthcare provider. But I'm getting the sense that you're tired. It's like a weariness. And you know, the funny thing about this, Denise, is it's not so much physical as it is mental.
Emotional.
I'm getting this mental weariness. And your mom said that you've got to pull yourself out of this. Does that make any sense to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, the last 2 years have been hard, and I'm alone a lot, so I guess yes.
Yeah, and it's really hard socializing now. You know, everyone says, oh, we go meet people. Yeah, well, you know, and you could be putting your life at risk too, you know, so you got to be careful about that. You're starting to venture out a little bit more, though. What's with your driving? Are you like afraid to drive at night? There's something about you and driving at night she's bringing up.
Yeah, I don't care for it. You know, now that I'm older, I don't see as well as I did when I was younger. So I don't really go out at night, and it gets dark at 5 o'clock now.
Okay. Well, you know what? And trust your instincts. So when you do go driving in the day. But what I'm getting from your mom, she said, not only do you have to pull yourself out of this weariness, that you can, you're perfectly capable of it. And she said, just stay the course because things are going to be getting better by mid-year. Okay. So they're targeting like the middle part of June, which is, let me see, that would be Taurus, that Gemini going to the Cancer time frame. Which is roughly June 20th to July 20th. Is there any significance to Cancer? I'm sorry, go ahead, Dr. Pat.
That's interesting because we just experienced a full moon in Cancer. I was interested to know her sign.
October, Libra.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some significance to the Cancer time frame for you. And that could be an indication that things are going to start turning around for you mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually at that time.
I'll tell you the message that comes up under this new moon for you, or this full moon for you under Libra. There's a very specific message. And I don't know who's in your life now, but there are two things. One, you have to express your feelings. And it's very difficult because most people feel that they have been locked up for 2 years, right? And so I have a friend that just started an online support group for people that just don't have a place to express their feelings. So that is important for you to do. But it really is pointing to a friend. I don't know if you have a friend in the mix of this whole conversation. I don't know who that would be. I'm not the psychic. But my sense is
my best
friend.
Two of my best friends right now are going to be leaving soon. They both have cancer. They're my
That's
best
what I thought.
friends.
Oh my God, cancer. Cancer.
That's it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh gosh. Okay. See, they have to get me to the concept.
Yep.
Okay. And so sometimes it's the astrological time frame, but I'm going to still stick with that because one message can have more than one meaning. You have two very dear friends that are struggling with cancer, but I'm still getting that in the Cancer time frame, particularly in the June part of it, things are going to turn around for you for the better. So even though things right now are really difficult, really tough, you've just got to keep focused and get through this. And yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dr. Pat.
I want to give her some other advice before we run out of time. Don't carry this burden alone. You know, part of the energy is you've got to find a supportive person that you can vent to, that you can express anger to. because you can't do it to those people and you don't want to do it inward. And so this is not a mistake that you're calling in about this. And it's not a mistake that we wrapped it right around to your two friends. I mean, you have to seek out some help. Do you hear what I'm saying? That is in the spirit of empowerment, which is today's show. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You've got to do this. I don't know how to say it more clearly. Mark, I think you said it too. You got to find help, find a therapist, find somebody, find a grief support group. Please make that a priority for yourself. It's too much of a burden for you to take on.
Even if there's a senior center, the senior centers have lots of activities during the day, and they will have people there for this particular issue. So, that's what everybody needs to understand, is that no matter how secluded, isolated, alone you feel, exactly what Dr. Pat's saying, don't go through this alone, because there are people, there are trained professionals, and there is never any shame. There's never anything wrong with asking for help.
Mm-hmm. The last thing I want to say to you is there something stopping you from what you said? You're in Florida. Is that correct? Florida? You're living in Florida?
Excuse me?
Are you living in Florida? Yeah. So I have a question.
Yes.
Are you going to get out and do some walking?
Oh, I do. I have a dog. We walk. But you know what? As soon as it gets dark, we don't walk.
No, I get it.
We walk, during the day, and he loves to walk. So I do walk. That's my main exercise. I'm not one of these people. I should go to the gym. I should go on a diet. I should do a lot of things. Mop. I should clean the house, but I walk.
Don't worry about it. I play ping pong. So what? My house will get clean when it gets clean. The point for today is to take care of yourself. I'm glad you're exercising. Please don't take this journey alone. There's nothing that you could say to anybody listening to this show that can express some of the grief and pain that we experience when we lose people that are so close to us. And you have two of them. So please go get some help.
Thank you.
You bet. Keep walking that dog. Keep walking that dog.
And, I'm going to ask our listeners, please visit my website, afterlifefrequency.com. Sign up for the newsletter because I got a newsletter going out tonight. I've got some spirit communication events. Plus, it'll tell you how to listen to the Psychic and the Doc, both on the Transformation Network and on Facebook Live. And that's at afterlifefrequency.com. And Dr. Pat and I will be back next week. We have a really, really interesting guest next week. And I don't think any of you are going to want to miss that show.
And do you believe it? I got a question that just came in.
I believe it.
You mentioned Rooney Mara 3 times. What kind of cheese is she? I think they're both Brees. I think both Kate Blanchett and Rooney, I think they are both Brie. But I'd love for you to email me at info@the Dr. Pat Show and tell me what kind of cheese you think Rooney Mara is. You started with the cheese, Mark.
It did, and we're ending with the cheese. So everybody who is not lactose intolerant, enjoy a good piece of cheese tonight. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And like I said, the Psychic and the Doc, we will be back next week. Oh, my gosh. I hope Kate Blanchett and Rooney Mara are not listening to this show. Thank you, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on transformationtalkradio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on the Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday,
4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.